Hi everyone, so I've been using this Pixel 6 Pro for some days now and all I can say I'm in love with this phone. It's not perfect and I am still not switching from my iPhone to this phone as my primary phone, but I will talk about that later. I also used Pixel 6 last year when it was launched, but it did not work out for me. There were some bugs and the phone was really heavy. The fingerprint sensor was not good and the display had a tint. Battery life was not good on the standby. So I sold that. But after many updates later and watching a lot of reviews, I thought why not give it a try. So it's not officially available in India, so either you can import it from somewhere, buy it on Amazon from some third party seller, or buy it secondhand because a lot of people purchased it in India. That's what I did. So I got this for the price of Pixel 6, which is an amazing deal, and I don't think there's any device right now that can give me the value that this device is providing. But in case you want to purchase a new one in India or anywhere else, actually it's going to be similarly priced at iPhone 13. So if you want me to compare these phones, just let me know. Coming back to Pixel 6 Pro, I'm not going to tell you the specs and stuff because it's out for quite some time. I'm here to just share my experience. So the first thing you will notice when you hold this device is that it's big and heavy. It's not a very comfortable device to use it with one hand. I mean, it is really slippery. I mean, yes, you can put your finger here and it holds it there, but it is slippery. So you might have to put a case, but when you put a case, it's going to make it a lot bulkier. Because of the side edges, this is a little bit narrower phone, but you will see a lot of accidental touches. I get that the curved screen looks premium, but it's not very practical. So that is another reason to put a case. And the camera bump also collects a lot of dust. Another thing I wished was that it had a matte finish, so I don't have to deal with the minor scratches and fingerprints on the back. Also, I'm not a fan of this design. I'll pick the Pixel 5 design any day over this. But what makes it worth is the amazing screen. It is by far the best screen I've used on any Pixel, and trust me when I say this, it is far superior than Pixel 6 display. And I'm not saying it because it's 120Hz and that was 90Hz. It is much better display. I don't see any tint in the lowest light. It's plenty bright in the sunlight and the color tuning is way better. Watching the content on any OTT service is just a joy. And the speakers are also great. Listen to this. They have more treble than the bass, but the stereo separation is really good and also they're clean on the loud volume. Let's talk about the performance, and all I can say is it is the best experience I have ever had on any Android phone. Yes, I know it's Tensor chip which is supposed to be inferior than Snapdragon. It's made by Samsung for Google, so the fabrication is an issue. Even then, I did not face any heating issue with this phone. The phone does get warm, but I think because of its bigger size, the cooling system is a little bit better. So if you're taking a lot of pictures using its sunlight, it's going to get warm. But if you're putting a case on it, it might not be an issue. And that normal warmness, I think it's going to be okay because that happens with my iPhone as well. So I think that's okay. But Pixel is not just about processor, right? The software is what makes it a Pixel. I started using this phone with Android 12 and I did find some minor bugs here and there. But then I installed Android 13 beta and I don't notice anything. This is by far the smoothest experience I have ever had on any phone. The transitions are buttery smooth. I don't see any weird frame drop and refresh rate. If I have to complain about something, that is going to be the auto brightness. Sometimes I think it takes a little bit more time to decrease or increase the brightness, and sometimes it gives a sudden jump, but it's still okay. There's one more thing that I love about this device is the haptic feedback. I mean, it gives you the assurance that you're doing something right. It makes the experience much better. I mean, it's smooth and tight at the same time. There are a lot of other Pixel related features like amazing speech to text, showing what song is playing on the lock screen, showing the wave on the lock screen when the music is playing. So the overall experience and those small things are really good. This is an Australian unit which I'm using in India, but I did not face any sort of call reception, the network issue, LTE, carrier aggregation, everything just works fine on this phone. So the basics are really good. Now let's talk about the cameras, and I think this is the most versatile setup you can get after S22 Ultra, and for the most part I love the photos coming out of this phone. The main sensor was upgraded this year to 50 megapixel. There's an ultra wide and 4x telephoto lens. The main sensor is great for the photos coming out of this phone. It is one of my favorites. I do see a lack of consistency between all the lenses, but there are two issues that I faced on this camera. One, the focus of the 4x lens is not very good, and I have missed some shots while clicking pictures from the main lens as well. So as you can see in this picture, I was trying to click pictures really fast, but when I was looking in the gallery, I missed a shot from the main sensor. Coming to the front camera, I really like the skin tones on Google camera. Google is actually working on that part. I still don't like the colors coming out from iPhone's front camera. So in that case, it's good, but it's a little bit contrasty, which a lot of people might not like. The video has been improved too, and the stabilization as well. But you will see some jitters while moving the camera, and I think the colors are too vivid in the video. They are not very consistent with the main camera images, so I think Google should work on that. The one thing that has been improved after going from Android 12 to Android 13 is the battery life. I am easily getting 1 day or more than 1 day out of this phone. Also, the standby time has been really improved. In my Pixel 6, some apps were like eating the battery on standby for some reason, but with this phone, I did not face any of those issues. I wish I could show you the battery usage for longer period, but there's no option to check the battery more than the last 24 hours. But I can give you an example. So yesterday I charged both of the phones at 100% at the same time and took them out. So after 24 hours, they both had 63%. As I'm using both of the phone, I was trying to use them as same as possible. So the battery, I think the SOT was 2 hour 5 minutes on this and 2 hour 4 minutes on this. So it was pretty identical after 1 day of use. So in that regards, I'm really happy with the battery. But considering it's a bigger battery, it should have been more and it should perform better than iPhone 13. But it was still better than S22 Ultra, which I used for some days. So I think in that regards, the battery has been really improved. The only thing I have problem with this is the charging speed. It is still taking around 2 hours to fully charge this phone. There is, I think, no split. I don't think there is a split battery option, so the charging is going to be a little bit slower. But that's the case with this iPhone and even the S22 Ultra with even that 45-watt charger. So I think they should improve the battery charging a little bit more. See, I love the experience on this phone, but I still cannot make it my primary device because it's still a big and heavy device, and one hand typing is not really good on this phone. Even the one hand mode is not very good because it's like iPhone one hand mode, so it's still really hard to reach on the other side of the screen. So for that case only, I think I'm not going to switch my SIM to it, but that does not mean I don't use this phone. The only difference of apps between these phones is going to be just WhatsApp. My texting app is just on this, also the banking apps. But otherwise I can just still carry this phone. I have Google Pay and my cards in it, so it's still easier to just pick this phone and go anywhere I want to. But if I have to just keep my primary phone is still going to be this iPhone just because it's a smaller device. But for a lot of people, it's going to be a great recommendation. If you're waiting for Pixel 7, I think you don't have to do it. The upgrades are not going to be huge. So you can just go for this phone. It has been improved a lot, and I think Google has fixed a lot of bugs. I think Pixel 6a might change my point of view, because if it was a little bit smaller, like 6.1 inch with 120 Hz and the same standby and same battery, I would have switched to this phone within a second. But let's see how Pixel 6a is going to perform with that 60 Hz display. If you have any doubt, you can ask me in the comment box or you can follow me on Twitter. Please try to interact with this video in any way possible and subscribe if you want to watch my future videos. My name is Rohit. I'll see you in the next one. Till then,